Hi, this is Christy, ChristyMatthewsOnline.com, ChristyJMatthews.com. Hope you're having a great day. So, does poor digestion give you the blues? I mean, does it just make you feel terrible? Well, I've got some good news for you. I've got 5 tips that may help you out. So, I don't know if you've ever listened to my story. Several years ago, I had an emergency surgery, and they did abdominal surgery, and they opened me up and disturbed my intestines. And from then on out, I have had long-term digestive problems. I mean, you know what it's like, and I know this is somewhat of a sensitive subject, but if you've been burping, belching, pooping too much, not pooping enough, I mean, these things can really affect your happiness, and it can affect your energy level. There's a lot of things that happen when you're blocked up or going too much, right? So after having several surgeries, my digestive system was just shot, and I had to do something. I was on medication that was not only expensive, but it didn't work very well either. So when I just had my last surgery, I talked to my doctor about what was happening. He goes, "Is this stuff working for you?" And I go, "Not really." He goes, "Well, let's see if we can get you off of it, because what you're already doing with your diet should help. But let's go ahead and make a few adjustments." So here's what's happened. And I've got to say, I'm completely off the medication and things are great. So may I share? Okay. Here are the first tips. Now, first of all, keep in mind though, when you're having digestive problems, a lot of times you're not even able to assimilate the things that you are eating. It might just be sitting in your digestive system or running through you completely. So your ability to absorb the minerals and the vitamins from your food may not even be happening very well. Let me go close this window here. So it's very, very important that you get these components together. Now, if you go ahead and search anything on the internet, you're going to find less things to do, more things to do. These 5 things worked for me, and I've been struggling with this for, well, since 2004. Okay, so I have found, for me, it's the holy grail. Okay, and hopefully it will help you out too. Number 1 is hydration. You must get enough clear liquids through your system a day. A lot of research out on this. If you're dealing with migraine headaches and things like that, that might be some of what's going on by not having enough hydration. And the technical number is 0.6 ounces per pound of body weight is the amount of ounces of water you should be drinking a day. Now, having said that, you might be consuming 120 ounces a day, depending on how much you weigh. Having said that, I want to just give you a very simple rule of thumb. If you ever feel thirsty, you are dehydrated. Simple, hands down, that is what it is. If you're out there exerting yourself and sweating, or you're out in the sun, be careful, because our body is always letting off some sort of perspiration, whether we're feeling the perspiration or not. It's just expelling through our skin. So you must stay hydrated. So that's number 1. Number 2, you got to make a diet change. The diet change is so important, and I think it's probably key for many, many reasons beyond just helping you have better digestion. What I recommend, and this is what I've incorporated actually over the last couple of years, and it made huge difference in my life. And one is going to all grass-fed, grass-finished animal products. So if you are a meat eater, that means make sure you know where your meat is coming from and that it's sourced. You want to make sure that the beef is grass-fed cattle and grass-finished. It's really important to know what the animal you're eating has had a diet of. because you don't want that animal to have been consuming products that contain GMO or what you call animal renderings. So I'll leave that for another discussion, but it's very important. So grass-fed, go organic. The reason is that many of the chemicals that are used to control pests and so forth, you don't want to have that leaching off into your system because it's within the vegetables and so forth that you're eating. So go with grass-fed meats, organic vegetables, and you want to get 7 to 10 cups of veggies a day. Cruciferous is better, and keep the sugar type of vegetables down. Those might be like beets, carrots, things that have high sugar content in them, tomatoes even. You can have them, just don't have a lot of them. You want to have a moderate amount of protein per meal. That might be 3 to 6 ounces of protein a day. Folks, most of us consume the American diet, and I believe worldwide too, is that we consume too much protein. We just don't need that much. So 3 to 6 ounces in terms of the weight of the meat, not looking at how many grams are within a certain amount of meat. Just generally, if it's 3 to 6 ounces of whether it's a piece of fish, steak, chicken, that should be cool per meal. And lower your carbs. You want to get your carbs down to at least 100 grams of net carbs a day or lower. 50 is better, especially if you need to lose weight. The next thing is to get a quality probiotic. So I want to back up here. The first two doesn't really cost anything. Now, if you're not eating organic or buying grass-fed, that will increase your food budget a little bit, but it will pay off in your health way beyond the additional minimal increase in cost. Okay, so highly recommend that you change over to grass-fed and organic. The next is getting a quality probiotic. Now, I'm not promoting any particular products here, by the way, but this is something that I buy on Amazon, and what you want to look for is something that has a lot of good bacteria in it. And I've chosen one that has 50 billion CFUs and has 20 strains. And I get this on Amazon. It's like, I don't know, $15. You can go and spend a ton of money on probiotics and not have them work for you. Hey, Jamie, how are you doing? Thanks for joining me. So just be careful. And like I said, I'm not promoting one product or another. This happened to work really well for me, and all of the reviews I read on it, it was working for them as well. Okay, so go get a good quality probiotic. Fourth is get collagen. Now, do you have to go out and supplement collagen? You can, and I do, but you don't have to. Where you can get your collagen is in bone broth. Now, did you know that by the time you're about 40 years old, your collagen production is way down? In fact, as we become adults, we're losing about 1 to 2% of our collagen stores overall. And by the time we're hitting 40 or 50, this is why we start having wrinkles and why our skin starts to sag. Hey, Jamie. So you want to get collagen, and did you know that your digestive tract is mostly collagen? So it's very important to make sure that you get this nutrient in your body. Now, the best type of collagen is a multi collagen. So it's called type 1 through type 5. And really how you get it is from different sources of fish, chicken, pork, beef, even eggshell. And it is the bones and it is the skin. Now, bone broth is probably the cheapest way and the easiest way to do this, because if you are eating meats of any type of thing, save the bones, throw them in your freezer, and any of the vegetables that you're incorporating into your diet, save the ends. So I love buying, a cornucopia of vegetables. So let's take celery, for example. I cut the ends of the celery off, and of course everything's washed up. I take those ends, the things I'm not normally going to eat, I stick them in the freezer because those go into my bone broth. And I take all the tops from radishes, the celery, carrots, that type of thing, all of the green tops, stick them in the freezer. So when I'm ready to make my bone broth, which is probably about every week and a half because I make it for my dogs too, I always have a supply of stock material for my bone broth. So and you want to cook, if you're using beef bones, that type of thing, you need to be putting this into a slow cooker for about 48 hours, just so you can pull everything out. And then when you make your bone broth, make sure that you strain all of the ingredients later, okay, and then sip the broth. Here's the important thing about getting your collagen. If you go the bone broth route, you've got to take in bone broth about 3 times a day to really, especially if you have not been supplementing with collagen. One of the things that you can do is do a collagen boost. And that is by getting collagen 3 times a day for the next 30 days. And believe me, you'll start seeing a change very quickly. Probably within a week, you'll start feeling better. It's like magic. It really works well. And you can give this to your animals as well. My dogs love this stuff, and their digestive health has improved dramatically. Now, say you're not into bone broth or you don't like bone broth. That's cool. You can go ahead and get a supplement of it. And just make sure, you want to make sure it's not GMO and that it has good manufacturing practices. You'll see it right on the label. And the best type is multi-collagen, the type that has the 5 types in it. Okay? Now, lastly, like I say, is while I went over the probiotics, go with the digestive enzyme. This is something that I needed personally. You may not need the digestive enzymes. You'll have to see after doing the first 4 steps. For me, I needed the extra because my digestive system was damaged, I believe, from the surgeries that I've had. So I needed some help breaking down the fats and the meats. And I needed that in terms of digestive enzymes that included hydrochloric acid, HCl, and ox bile. You see, when you are not able to, well, let me back up. If you're feeling blocked up, that type of thing, you may not be getting enough of your natural lubricant, your digestive lubricant, which is bile that comes from your gallbladder. And having had quite a few surgeries, I know my gallbladder wasn't working very well and putting out the bile that was necessary. So I happened to pick up a product by Dr. Eric Berg called Gallbladder Formula. You don't have to buy this. You can go ahead and get a supplement anywhere, the vitamin shop or whatnot. Make sure it has hydrochloric acid in it. And if that's just not working for you, maybe go to something that has ox bile too. Why I've chosen Dr. Berg's formula is because it does not have maltodextrin in it. See, I'm on a ketogenic diet, and many supplements have maltodextrin in it, which is something that will spike your insulin index within you. It's kind of like a non-sugar sugar, and it's added to most things. Maltodextrin will just ruin your ketogenic diet. So that is why I use this product. It has ox bile through bile salts, and it has the hydrochloric acid. My problems completely went away. I got off all medication. And I got to tell you, it just feels good to feel good, you guys. So I hope that these tips helped you out. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Glad to share what I know. I'm not an expert in this thing. I'm just like you. I've had to figure some things out along the way, but I keep digging and I keep learning, and these things have worked for me. And to me, it's amazing. It's a good place to be. So have a great day, and I'll see you next time.